I'm joined now by Vikki Huddleston. She's the former chief of mission at the U.S. Interest Section in Havana. Vikki, thank you for being with us. Clearly a big turnout in Revolution Square today. Tens of thousands of Cubans paying their respects to Fidel Castro. Really an indication that he was both vilified but also loved.
Yes, I think he was a major 20th century figure. In Cuba, many people felt stifled by the political oppression and the difficult economy, but still many admired him because he stood up to the United States, you know, the Goliath against the small David. So even when Cubans were unhappy with the economy, unhappy without being able to say what they thought, they had to admire Castro. But I think his legacy will be an international legacy. Was listening to the Chinese premier giving his condolences, and I believe where Fidel had the greatest impact was across the world, developing nations, Latin America, Africa in particular. Cuban forces helped Africa gain its independence. Nelson Mandela said no country had done more for independence in Southern Africa than Cuba and Castro.
Vikki, how did Fidel Castro transform Cuba's image in the world?
I think he brought attention to this island, a fairly large island, but still a small nation. And he did that, obviously, through the Soviet Union. Because I think Fidel knew from the beginning, this big personality, that he couldn't walk the world stage if the United States was always looking over his shoulder. And of course, the United States was always looking over the shoulder of Cuba with huge investments, huge presence. So by joining with Khrushchev, the Soviet Union, that really gave him a platform to confront the United States, the wherewithal and the resources to send his troops to Africa, to Angola, to Ethiopia. So it was his Soviet sponsor that allowed Castro actually to become the leader of the developing world, the G77, and strut the world stage, despite the fact that his island is 90 miles off the U.S. coast.
And will his death change anything inside Cuba? I was talking to Michael Voss about this. I mean, he had been out of the spotlight because of failing health for the last 10 years. So in terms of the situation inside Cuba and Cuba's relationship with the world, will anything change?
Yes, I think so. I mean, first of all, Castro became the hardliner. I'm not sure he was a hardliner when he and Raul were both, when Raul was at the Ministry of Interior and he was the president. But once Raul became president, he seemed to be the hardliner. He said about Obama's visit, "We don't need the empire to tell us what to do." So he had a cadre of hardliners, and they made a big point of this at the last party Congress, and it appeared to really slow up reforms. So now I think that once Raul is sure that power is consolidated, he will push the reforms to move forward faster. But the really big thing is if Raul Castro goes through with his promise to step down in 2018, then there will not be a person named Castro as head of the Cuban state.
All right.
And that's an enormous change.
We will see what will happen. Vikki Huddleston, we certainly appreciate your expertise. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.